What's going on, baseball fans? Jeremy Laracuente here for the Baseball Banter Broadcast. And on this broadcast, we are going to be bantering about the X factors, the difference makers for the American League Central Division. But before I get into my list, I want to hear from you. Let me know down in the comment section below who are the X factors for each team in the American League Central. So we're going to begin in alphabetical order with the Chicago White Sox. Now, when you look at the White Sox, Luis Robert Jr. to me is the guy that is the difference maker. When you look at what he is capable of doing, this is arguably the best player in the White Sox organization. And it's not really a hard decision to make, a hard claim to make that this could be the best player that they've had coming out of that organization. I also think that when you look at what he is capable of doing if he's healthy, and that's the biggest factor right here. If Robert can stay healthy, then this is a guy who can absolutely challenge for an MVP award, in my opinion. But his inability to stay on the field, to stay healthy, is really what hinders him. If he can have a breakout season by being healthy, in my opinion, his offensive contributions will undoubtedly help the Chicago White Sox in a very big way. So if Luis Robert can stay healthy, this is going to be the biggest difference maker in the American League Central. Now, as we look at the Cleveland Guardians up next on the list, it is Josh Bell who is the X factor. I think that when you look at the Guardians, and especially when you compare them to their 2022 season, there was a lack of power. Adding in a guy like Josh Bell and to a lesser extent Mike Zunino brings in some more power to that lineup and kind of changes the dynamic a little bit. I think that for the Guardians, they're going to be the top of this division once again, but it's going to be with a little bit more coming out of a guy like Josh Bell, who's going to be able to plug into the middle of that order, provide some protection for a guy like Jose Ramirez and Andres Jimenez. And this is going to be a guy who the Guardians are really going to look to and count on for some power output. So I think that for the Guardians, Josh Bell is their X factor. As we look ahead to the Detroit Tigers, this is going to be a team that has quite a bit to kind of prove in 2023. But Riley Green is their top prospect, has been for the past couple of seasons, and this is going to be a guy who they're going to rely upon going forward. I think that when you look at the position that the Tigers have find themselves in right now, this is going to be the guy who they start to build this franchise around. Yes, Miguel Cabrera is in his final season, so you're going to need a new franchise face. And to me, Riley Green is going to be the guy that the Tigers give that mark to, give that kind of push to, and be able to kind of put at the forefront of their organization. And with that, it's going to be a guy who absolutely has the talent and the ability to be able to make that happen. Now, if he can do that, is going to be a whole nother thing to have to watch and wait and see. But I think that for the Tigers, Riley Green is the biggest X factor. Now, as we look at the Kansas City Royals, Bobby Witt Jr., obviously the best player on their roster, is going to be that X factor. I think that when you look at what this player can be, Bobby Witt Jr. to me can be this generation's George Brett for the Kansas City Royals. Now, I know that that's a big, bold claim to make, but I think that he has that kind of capability and that kind of ability. So when you look at what this player can be for the Royals, this is going to be a difference maker because of what he provides the organization, not just on the field, but also off the field. I think that there's a lot to like about this player and the way that he plays this game. And for me, this is going to be the guy that is the difference maker for the Kansas City Royals in 2023. Now, as we round out the American League Central with the Minnesota Twins, it's Byron Buxton. There's no doubt about it. Buxton has all the makings to be a perennial MVP candidate in the American League. I also think that when you look at the talent, the skill set that this player has, it is otherworldly. His ability to track balls in the outfield, the speed which he has, and the power that he possesses in that bat, to me, are second to almost none. And the one thing that hampers Byron Buxton is his health. Being unable to remain on the field, being unable to stay healthy for a full 145, 150, 155 games has hindered Byron Buxton in the biggest of ways. And for me, if this player can prove that he is healthy in 2023, he's going to have a monstrous season for the Minnesota Twins. And that, to me, is why he is the biggest difference maker, the X factor for the Twins, because he has this skill set that almost no one in baseball has. And if he can remain healthy, which is a skill in and of itself, if he can prove that he is healthy, Byron Buxton is going to have a massive campaign. But I want to hear from you guys. Let me know your thoughts, your feelings down in the comment section below. Who are the X factors for the American League Central teams? Let me know that down in the comments, or you can find me over on Twitter at banter_baseball, where we can keep the conversation rolling. Listen, if you want to show more support for us here at the Baseball Banter Broadcast, find us on our social media channels at banter_baseball on Twitter, or you can find us on our Instagram or TikTok pages at Baseball Banter Broadcast. And you can also show more support by heading over to laracuenteledger.com, our blog site, where we put up new articles daily on the world of Major League Baseball, as well as many other things. And as well, if you want to show even more support, head over to baseballbanterbroadcast.com, our merchandise shop. We have a ton of promo codes where you can use to save on your Banter merch. So I want to thank you guys for tuning in to this broadcast. If you haven't already done so, I ask that you hit that subscribe button and the bell for post notifications, because over 95% of our audience is not actually subscribed to this channel. So if you love the world of Major League Baseball, if you loved hearing my takes and personal thoughts, theories, and opinions on all the latest news and notes around this beautiful game of baseball, make sure you hit that subscribe button. It does a big service for us and a huge favor as we continue to try to grow this baseball community here, this baseball family on the Baseball Banter Broadcast. So I will catch you guys on the next broadcast when we banter about baseball. Peace.